Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube video. Today I'm doing something a little different. Um, well, for starters, the reason why I haven't really been posting in a minute is because one, I have technical difficulties with my camera at the moment, like my phone. So I really can't upload anything from my phone at the moment, so I'm using my computer. So if the quality kind of looks rough, sorry about that, it's the computer. And secondly, with everything that's been going on, I've been trying to figure out what my next video I just before I went to Hamilton High School, I knew racism existed. I did. I just didn't think I was going to experience it the way I did, and honestly, how it was handled at school was unacceptable. Racism that I experienced at school was unacceptable, but it was something that I went through anyway. I went to a predominantly white school in a very white area. Like it's well, over the years a lot of people of color have moved in, but it's still pretty white. KKK still around, so that should give you a little hint. Anyway, so not the point. I'm just gonna get into the story. When I first went to school, I even had a white parent tell me and my mother, I was trying to make the cheer team in high school. And let me just say this. On the football cheer team, this is how the school had their cheer team set up. They had football cheer team, they had basketball cheer team, they had competition cheer team. You had to try out. You didn't have to, but you could try out for 3 different teams. Like, just because you try for the cheer team does not mean you automatically make all 3 cheer teams, like competition, football, and basketball. You had to actually put the cheer team that you want to try out for. So the football cheer team, they had no person of color on there. Well, I'm not gonna say person of color. They didn't have any black girls on there, because I think they did have 2 Asian girls on there. I'm not sure. I don't know. But they did not have any black girls on there unless you had like a really high skill level. So, when we first had gone to school, a white cheer parent told us this before I was even like cheering. Like, she knew that I was trying out. I was in 8th grade when I was trying out for the high school cheer team, like for the freshman cheer team, and she told us, she said, your daughter is not going to make the football cheer team because they do not like black girls on there unless they have a really high skill level, in which they can't just turn her away, because obviously it'll be an obvious, like, there's something going on, that they would turn away someone with this high level of cheer, like, oh my god, I can't talk, this high skill set. So she had told me and my mother that I was just not going to make the team, the football cheer team. I'm like, what? And the thing is, before I even went to Milton, parents had told my mother that the school's racist. And I was just like, what? Like, the school had been known for a lot of things, and one of them was like cheating in football. But this in particular one, parents had told us that there's a lot of racism that goes on in that school, and it just gets swept under the rug. Shocker, shocker. But I had tried out for the cheer team. I had specifically asked the coach, and this was the main coach, like she was over everything. I had specifically asked her if there was a certain skill set that I need to learn to get on the cheer team, and she told me to my face no. So I tried out. I knew, like I said, I knew racism existed, and I knew I had to work twice as hard as a white person did. And you know, if you're black, you've had this conversation with your mother or your father or whoever, that you have to work twice as hard as a white person does. So I knew that I had to work twice as hard. So I guess I did like some low tumbling, but I still did some tumbling. I was just like, yeah, I just want to make sure like I'm on the team. So I think I just did like a backbend walkover. But she had told me I did not need to know any skill needed on the team. So the charts come out. I had put down football and basketball cheer. And let me tell you why there's a big difference between basketball and football cheer. I'll get into that. So I put football and basketball cheer, and I didn't want to be on basketball cheer. I was so used to doing football cheer. I had done cheer like throughout elementary school and middle school. So I was so used to football cheer that's what I wanted to do. I didn't make the football cheer team like ever throughout high school. I just didn't make it. But I did put down basketball cheer because I was like, I like to cheer. I like the motions. Like, I just love the art of cheer. So I just want to cheer. So I put basketball cheer down just in case I didn't make football cheer. Well, I didn't make it. And at the time, I didn't want to believe the white parent who told us that I was not going to make the football cheer team ever. As long as the main coach is there, I was never going to make that football cheer team. So she was right. And I had even asked the coach. I was just like, I thought I didn't need any skill sets. And she had backtracked and said I did need to learn a skill to be on the football cheer team. And I'm like, but you didn't, when I asked you this, you said I didn't need to like know a certain skill. So, and this was for freshman football. So that is what she told me. And not only that, she did not have documentation that was a certain skill I needed, but she did tell me that. So she just she just said whatever she needed to say to fit her narrative and get her away with discriminating. So first year had passed, second year had come, and I had learned how to do a back handspring. So I did a back handspring just in case, because I was just like, I would like to make the football cheer team. Like, I want to make the football cheer team. I didn't make it again. So same thing. I didn't need to learn how to do a skill set, but I did a skill set anyway because I wanted to make sure my spot was secured. Still didn't make the team. And sometimes I would question myself. I was like, maybe I'm just not good. But here's the thing. Oh, how did I even forget this? My mother had put a complaint in that year I didn't make it because she had literally told me I didn't need a skill set. So when she put a complaint in, the following year, my scores had gone down. And this was after I was on the basketball cheer team. So I already had experience with cheer, but all of a sudden, I didn't have the skill anymore. Like, I didn't have the same skill set from last year. If anything, it would have gone up because I was in cheer. Because the thing is, when we had tryouts, I was in the season. Like, I was in basketball season. It was either the season had just ended, like literally just ended like 2 weeks ago, or it was about to end in 2 weeks. Like, it was like around that time. And the scores had gone down, and one of the scores that were really low was my appearance and dance. And I had made the dance team, but my dance scores were low. But I was on the dance team, and my appearance had gone down. So I'm like, appearance? What do you mean appearance? Like, how can my appearance be low? Like, I had a bow in my head. I had the stupid little bow in my head because you have to put the bow in the front, which I think is so stupid and so ugly, but whatever. But I had the bow in the front, and I had my ponytail, and I was natural at the time. So my appearance was really low. Like, I was trying to figure, I'm like, how can appearance be low? Like, I wore what I was supposed to wear on tryouts day. I had a bow in my head. How is my score so low for appearance and dance? How is it going to be low for dance when I'm on the dance team? How is it going to be low for appearance when I had the bow in my head and I had this uniform that you had required? So my mother put in another complaint. I was moving on to varsity. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm like all over the place. I don't know if this is the same year. It was either sophomore or junior year. Once again, I did not need to know a certain skill. They keep texting me, dang. She keeps telling me this, like, I did not need to know a certain skill set. Like I said, I kept throwing a back handspring. She's just like, no, like, round off back handspring. I did a round off back handspring. I was like, no, I'm still gonna do tumbling, because like I said, you gotta work twice as hard as a white person if you're a person of color. So this is when I really found out that they were racist, when she had told me that I didn't need a certain skill set. And this is still the tip of the iceberg. There's more. When my white counterpart, she did not have any skill set. No offense to her. She knows who she is. And honestly, she will admit this. But she didn't know how to do a tuck, I think. She didn't know how to do a tuck. She was learning a back handspring. We were in the same tumbling class. We were on the same skill level. I think I had a back handspring before her. I threw one. I didn't make it, but she did. She didn't throw a skill. She didn't throw the skill that was required at the time, because I think around that time she had required that you have a certain skill to be on the team. Either way, she didn't have that certain skill and I did. So she put her on the team and she did not put me. So I was just like, okay, I'm just not gonna make the team. Like, no matter what I do, I had to be a level 5 to a level 4 or 5, depending on the gym. I don't know what I have, but anyway, I had to just had to stand out between all the other white girls. Like, I could not be on their same skill level. Like, we could be on the same skill level, they will make it and I will not. And I realized that when a friend of mine, well, yeah, kind of friend, when she did not have a skill that I did have, and they put her on the team when they told me you had to have this skill to be on the team, and she didn't have that skill to be on the team. So I kind of figured, yeah, there's no other way you could describe this to me but as racist. But we're gonna keep going in. So another way I had found out how racist she was is when we're talking about the coach, the main coach. When I was on the basketball cheer team, there was no funding whatsoever. The only funding I think we had was for uniform. We didn't have any funding for all those years. I think we had to bring another coach in, and she wasn't even a cheer coach. Probably one of the best coaches I've ever had was her. This is a different coach. This is not the main coach. This is a basketball cheer coach, because they have multiple coaches on the cheer team. I hope I'm making sense. But they have multiple coaches on the cheer team, and the coach that was racist, she's the main coach. She just would not put me on the team no matter what. Matter of fact, the scores got lower when we put a complaint in. But the main coach, she was overfunding, so she did not put money into basketball cheer. So what that means is we couldn't have food. Like, football cheerleaders, they got food. We were not provided food. What else was there? We couldn't get new uniforms. They got new uniforms whenever they asked. We wanted new uniforms. They would not give it to us. Like, they literally would not give us access to the money. And they had a budget. They had enough money where they could have, like, you know, given us money, like the basketball cheer team, but they just would not give us any money, no matter what. Like, I think when the new coach had came in, she had finally, like I don't even know what she did to get the money from her, but yeah, she got the money somehow. The new coach got the money, but this is years later. But the first 2 years, no funding went into the basketball cheer team, like, whatsoever. And I think the coach herself had to buy food for us out of her pocket, and we just couldn't get money for it. They would exclude us from the homecoming parade. And we had to literally ask, like, why can't we just be in the homecoming parade? Like, we're not even asking to be on the same, like, you know, boat, like, the same car as y'all. We just want to be in the homecoming parade. We just want to be included. And that's how I knew it was racist, because of how much they excluded and how much they treated the basketball cheer team. Like, they treated us like we were just nothing to them. Like, they didn't put they didn't put any funding in it. We couldn't be in the homecoming parade for some weird reason. I feel like I'm missing something. But yeah, but this is just a tip of the iceberg of the experiences at Milton High School as a black girl. Like, the racism that I had faced there was, honestly, it was unacceptable. How they treated it was unacceptable. Because the thing is, we fought. Oh my god. I kind of wish I had documented all of this when it was happening. Like the cheer team, I just wish I had documented all of this so I can remember everything. But I'm telling you right now, it was way worse. It felt like every turn at that cheer program was just a fight after fight after fight. We had to fight for our uniforms, fight for new cheer like pom-poms or whatever. It was just like fight after fight after fight with the main coach. She just did not want us to be on the same level as football cheer. And I think that's really what it was. Because when the new cheer coach came in, things started getting better. Like, the main coach, she just did not want to give us any money. Like, she just didn't want to give us any funding. And when the banquet came, we had to pay for it. And the thing is, the cheer program is supposed to pay for the banquet. They had it at a nice country club. It was really nice. At a country club, food provided, awards, and for us, we didn't get that. We did not get a country club. We had to go somewhere else. We just could not do the country club. And they could afford to send us somewhere nice. They just didn't want to. You know, the thing is, we even went to our principal about it. He even acknowledged that there was a problem. He even acknowledged that to us, and he still didn't do anything about it. And honestly, and I'm gonna say this, he wasn't even like a bad principal. It's just when he just wasn't strong enough to stand up to her. He even admitted it, that what she was doing was wrong, and he just didn't do anything about it. And honestly, I think that's what kind of disappoints me the most, is that the principal even acknowledged that there was a problem, and he just didn't do anything. My mother had told me, she's like, if that was an all black cheer squad, not letting white girls on there, you know there'd be a line of white parents out there. And my senior year, I had decided not to put football cheer down, because I was just like, during the entire process, like, for some people, if you're watching this, you might just think it's not a big deal, but it is, because it's just like, it takes a toll on your mentality when you try so hard, but no matter what happens, you just can't get it because of the color of your skin. And it took a toll on me mentally, when I just knew, I was just like, no matter what happens, she's just not gonna put me on this cheer team, because it doesn't matter the skill set. It doesn't matter how many times I complain to the principal. She's not going to put me on the cheer team. He's not going to do anything about it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I did enjoy the basketball cheer team. But I guess what really pissed me off was the fact that it was all right for her to discriminate. You had to have a certain skill level to be on that cheer team. You had to be great to be on that cheer team. I'm not talking about competition. I'm talking about, you know, that's even crazy. I can't even believe I forgot that. I actually made it on the competition cheer team. But she just would not put me on the football cheer team. I made it onto competition basketball, and I was on dance team, and yet for some reason I'm sorry. I'm over here acting like there was some reason. She didn't put me on the cheer team because of the color of my skin. And I'm sorry, the whole point of me saying that part of me not putting football cheer team down my senior years, because I just didn't want to be on a cheer team where that just wasn't wanted. I don't want to be on a cheer team where the coach will just always treat me different for the color of my skin. I just didn't want to feel that. It already felt horrible enough that even when I did try harder than the other girls, even when I did have another skill set than my white counterpart didn't have, it still just wasn't enough. And I feel like And I feel like a lot of, and I'm gonna say it, I feel like a lot of white people just don't understand how racism works. Someone does not have to call you the N-word for it to be racist. Someone doesn't have to go out and say, I hate black people, for them to be racist. I was gonna continue to talk about my experiences at Milton. I'm just going to do a part 2 because it's already gone on to 20 minutes. But that is just one of the ways that I had experienced racism at Milton High School. There are a lot more other ways. That was just the cheer team part of it. There's a lot more. Stay tuned. I'm sorry it was all over the place. I'm kind of bad at telling stories, especially since it was a few years ago. So I'm trying, like, as I tell the story, I remember things as I'm telling it. But yeah, this is just part 1 of what it felt like of being a black girl at a predominantly white school and facing racism. And honestly, a lot of the times it just felt like I was alone. Like, I understand my mom was there. Like, don't get me wrong, she was there and she was fighting with me. But it feels alone when your own classmates are the ones saying the N-word. They're the ones cracking racist jokes, and it's just like, you just can't talk about racism you just couldn't talk about racism with a lot of the white kids there, and for me, it just felt so isolating. Which is another reason why I didn't want to go on that cheer team. It just felt so isolating I would have been the only black girl on that cheer team if I did make it. So it's just like, not only would I have to face her, like the head cheer coach discriminating against me, but it just felt like isolation being on that cheer team when I'm the only black girl there. That's honestly why I did not put it for the last year. I was just like, what's the point at this point? I'm a senior. I've been on the basketball cheer team for 3 years, and honestly, she's not going to put me on this team. She didn't for the last 3 years, and this is when we complained and went to the principal about it. Even had a meeting set up to talk about it that neither one of them wanted to go to because I guess it was an inconvenience to them. But yeah, and if I don't even have anything else to say. Thank you for watching my video. Stay tuned for part 2.